Welcome to the Monday, May 1st Board of Health meeting. We will commence with the action items as there are no hearings or appointments scheduled today. For action items, we have invoices for office supplies in the amount of $475.92 and $10.37. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then the April 3rd minutes, I was not present at that meeting. Have you both reviewed?
Yes.
So I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
I will second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those are approved.
You're abstaining, right?
Yes.
One abstaining, okay.
Disposal system construction permits. We have local upgrade approval for 520 North Street, 337 North Central, 10 Arrow Path. Jean Marie, do you have anything to discuss on those?
No, they'll have the usual deed restrictions as per no additional bedrooms, because they're asking for distance to groundwater upgrades. But they're fine.
Does anyone have any questions?
Nope, we're good.
All right, can I get a motion to approve 520 North Street, 337 North Central, and 10 Arrow Path?
I will make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So approved. New construction sanitary disposal system design plan for Tower Heights Phase 5. Lot 4, and then also for Lot 5. Jean Marie?
These are off of Northridge and Captain's Way, off of Highland, between Highland Street and Winter Street.
Mm-hmm.
There's a new subdivision that's going right up against the go-kart, one that we've been talking about. And they're fine. I also have another one that actually has been here but didn't get into the agenda. 582 Oak Street, thank you. Commercial property, down by Honeydew, down in that area.
Mm-hmm.
7 units, like plumber's bays, electrician bays, kind of office condos kind of thing, similar to what's up on, right on the Hanson line on the other side on Plymouth Street.
Okay.
And then, these two sanitary disposal systems, so these are,
New
it is-
construction,
right, so there's two of them?
2 lots, lot 4 and lots 5.
Okay, so lot 4 and lot 5, they're going to share, how many unit, or how many lots are going to
Be in there?
share this sanitary system?
No.
No, it's one for
Single-family
each.
homes, they have their own septic. Lot 4 has its own, lot 5 has its own.
Okay.
No shared systems.
Any other questions?
Nope.
Nope, okay. Motion to approve new construction sanitary disposal system design plan for Tower Heights Phase 4. Also sanitary disposal system design plan Tower Height Phase 5. Lot 5, sorry. And 582 Oak Street, commercial 7 unit. Can I get a motion for approval?
Motion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. We have one new food establishment, Pepper Paul's Hot Sauce at 824 Plymouth Street, East Bridgewater.
Excuse me, that's a renewal,
It's a renewal? Oh, okay.
residential kitchen renewal.
Okay. Never heard of it. Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mobile food trucks. There seems to be so many of these. Okay, South Shore Smokehouse, Lulu's, Ellie's Treats, Deegs Local Driver, Tambo's Kitchen, Cheesy Chicks, and JoJo Restaurant.
So
So-
Jean Marie, these, I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's what I was gonna say, they're probably the same thing. These are all inspected and approved. Jean Marie?
Sorry. I'm missing that list.
It's
Um,
in there.
They've been all inspected and improved.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, motion to approve.
There it is.
So these are folks that came up that did not did not go to the roundup?
No, some of them did. They all did, they're just, now their application's coming in. So they were inspected in the roundup, because I don't
Gotcha.
know,
Okay.
none of these look familiar to what I've
So
done.
everybody that was done at the roundup, their applications are coming in separate, and we're gonna have to approve them.
Right,
Okay.
just like we do other
Yep.
food establishments. Yep.
So motion to approve the mobile food trucks as stated.
I will make a motion.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Installer license, we have disposal works installer license for Mike Wood, Black Brook General Contracting. Also for a renewal for Gregory Jones, Jones Excavating, and Gordon Lincoln, Lincoln and Sons Construction. So the two, Mike Wood and Gregory Jones, are renewals. The new license for Gordon Lynch, everything is all set with that?
Gordon Lincoln's also a renewal.
Oh, okay, it says new. All right, can I get a motion to approve the 3 installers?
Motion?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Oak Colony YMCA camp license, so there was an issue. The camp wanted a letter stating that they have the intent of opening. There is a few outstanding issues with the rope certification, which they are working on. I guess the person is very backed up because of COVID. The water slide, the Department of Public Safety told them that their maintenance person could be carnival equipment certified. He's in the process of doing that, and they are still looking for a town nurse. So Jean Marie on Monday issued them a letter stating pending all of those things are met before the opening of the camp, that we would have no issue with their camp. So that issue is okay. I went to pick up her check. She lost her pocketbook. She's gonna bring it by on Monday. Health agent updates?
Hey, the last 2 weeks have been off the wall, kind of crazy. Plus the fact that we lost use of our office computers, et cetera, for over 10 days, so. Anyways, we have site assessments, that's observation holes, perk tests, new construction, 37 lots on Industrial Way. It's the industrial side, not the residential side. I was out there for 3.5 days, so that was done. Just to let you know, some areas they've taken 35 to 50 feet of sand and gravel out of there, and they've left me with junk. So
Oh.
those lot lines are gonna be sliding all over the place to get buildable lots.
Okay, so my understanding is that perks need to be done with the existing soil,
Yes,
okay?
Yes.
And then, but you're telling us that they removed soil and gravel.
I did perks out there December of 2021. Up here, I don't know, 80 to 90 feet above sea level. I went down there and we're at 50.
Okay, so
So
you did
the-
the perk test in December of '21
Mm-hmm.
with the existing soil,
Yeah,
and they all passed.
not all of
Perks.
them, but most of them, yes.
Okay. So the ones that passed, you know, that had an acceptable perk rate, are they included in these other 37?
We had to go out and re-perk them because I didn't accept the perks because they were done at a different elevation. And that soil no longer was on the site.
Okay, so let me just back up to get to the order here for my own understanding. So there were perks that were done in December '21. Some passed, some didn't. But some you had to re-perk because you didn't accept them?
Because they were done at a much lower elevation, and the elevation I did the perks at was gone. They removed the sand and gravel.
Okay,
It's a sand and gravel removal pit out there.
so out of the 37, how many did we have to redo?
We're talking upwards of 150 to 200 holes. So I don't have that specific number for you right now. Until he gives me the test hole locations and I plot it against what I did out in December, I'm not gonna know that.
Do we know how many weren't approved in December?
I think 3, but some of the lots at that time were 20,000 square feet. Now I'm looking at 1 acre, 2 acre, 4 acre.
So basically, it's almost like starting over again?
I started over again, yep. Yeah, I had to. And I'll have that information for you. I just, given what happened this week, I couldn't plot it.
Okay, I'm just hearing numbers all over the board here.
That's the problem out there, so.
Okay, so have all of them been started from scratch? I mean, there was a number that I just heard that was 150.
There are some areas that I was perking in trees, and those trees are still there. So I assume those are okay, because they haven't removed in sand and gravel in that area. That area is down by, the Hanson line with, where Center Street and Oak Street kind of kick out to each other. There's still trees there. So the ones I did in that treed area are probably fine. The ones in the active sand and gravel pit, the engineer, it's his responsibility to plot the elevations that we did the perks at. And then I can tell what
Okay,
didn't move.
my personal concern is the ones that had to have been redone because now we're at a different elevation.
That's a concern, but I don't plot elevations. That's for the engineer to do.
I understand that, but we're redoing those perks. We're not accepting those old perks because of the soil removal?
It's up to him to prove they're at the same elevation as when we were out there in December.
So I'm confused also, because I thought in order to perk it, you had to do the existing soil. So if you've perked it with the existing soil and say, I'm gonna just throw out, because you said 3 didn't pass, 34 passed, 3 didn't, and then they dig out and remove soil, do we need to redo the perk with the soil that's underneath at the different elevation, or is that necessarily going against the existing soil process?
It says if the soil that you perked in is still there. So if I'm perking at 100 feet above sea level and I perk down 4 feet, so I'm at 96, then they came in and they went down, they took out 10 to 15 feet, and now I'm sitting on top of silt loam. I'm not saying, they took all the sand and gravel out and sold it.
And why did they take it out? To drop the holes, or, oh,
They sold it. It's fill. It's a sand and gravel pit.
So right now, if I understand this, that there's 150 lots, or 150 holes.
I know, they
So
moved
2 holes
lots
per-
around, so lot lines around, so I don't know exactly how many are out there.
How do we nail this down?
You, and I will do this for you. I take the plot plan they gave me last December in 21.
Yep.
I take the plot plan they're gonna give me when we have another 2 days out there. When we get through that, his plot plan should have all the holes, test hole numbers 1 through 280, or A, B, and C, whatever designation the engineers use, out there. And you just have to match them up. I go through and I say, this was no good, this was no good, this was no good. I redline those, and they can't use that area for septic.
Do you have a spreadsheet or something that tracks all those? I mean,
The
how do you-
engineer does.
I'm sorry?
The engineer does, that's his responsibility. He was just in, Pat, you've met him before.
Okay, so there's one engineer on this whole site.
There used to be 3, he's now got all 3 sites, and they've combined them.
and then if you're perking twice, are they paying for it twice?
They pay
How?
$200 a lot. It gets a little muddy as far as that.
But is that $200 a lot for the one inspection, or is it,
It's
Multiple.
$200 a lot for the time frame. Sometimes he books 2 or 3 days, sometimes he books 2 days, sometimes they're 3 months apart.
I'm just trying to figure, if you went out in December and you did X, Y, and Z, and then they changed their lot lines and removed soil, are we redoing it at their cost, or are you,
There,
okay.
yes. Because I can't tell what lot it really is if they're moving the lot lines around.
And any word as to the end date as far as when they will be coming to us for approval?
They have to go through planning board first, and planning board has to accept the lot lines.
Okay.
There'll be a public hearing for that, and that's when I'll get the definitive lot plan. And on that plan, he'll have all sorts of numbers that should correspond to my perk holes and observation hole numbers. And that's when I start matching them up.
So, this goes out to both you and Sandy. Is it worth, once that comes back, once we get the approved lines from planning, can we get these different lots on a spreadsheet with a column that says you know, here's when it was tested, here's what's happened, here's what has to be done.
You get,
Because,
yep,
you know, it just sounds like we've got an awful lot of holes out there,
we do,
and,
we
you know,
do.
you're good with Excel, right? Or Google,
Keep going.
what do the kids call it? Sheets, right? So-
What? Now I lost it.
So, but something that
going.
we can get, somewhere we can get this amount of holes, so we can get some sort of tracking form that says, okay, this is done, done, and done.
Yep.
Right, so we perked it, at this point in time, it's still the same, trees are in place, soil's there, fine, done, done, done. Then, here's an issue, okay, we now have approved plot lines, here's the challenge, we did it, we have to redo, whatever the case may be, so that we can track 150 holes, I don't know what the total number of, so it's 150, sounds like there's 75, somewhere between 60 and 75 lots.
If they're at 10,000, 20,000 square feet.
Okay, so whatever the
They're
case
one
may
lot,
be,
1 acre.
it just seems like there's a lot to track, and I think it would help
There
the
is.
board if we had something that just said, okay, here's where we are with these, and we would have the confidence that, yep, okay, we could look at any one of these lot numbers and say, here's where we're at.
What I plan to give you is a spreadsheet, is the spreadsheet we can do, but for me and maybe you, giving you the subdivision plan with all the holes located, and then color coding them, saying the red ones are no good.
However,
Blue ones
you know,
are
check
okay.
mark, color code, whatever the
Yeah,
case may
yeah.
be, I just.
So you'll have a subdivision plan, and then when they come in with the individual lots, you can match it up to the subdivision plan and figure that out.
Well, I think what
Or I'll
Rob is
figure it out
saying is
for
that he would like a list 1 through 37, column A being inspected in December, pass fail, column B being re-inspected, and column C being, is there anything that needs to be done and to move forward,
Yeah, I can,
as opposed to multiple maps.
okay,
I'll work with Jean Marie, I wrote it down. We're
you
good.
knew it,
Okay.
yeah.
All right,
It's complicated, well uncomplicated by the time you get there.
that's my goal,
Yep.
and I think it's,
Well uncomplicated for you. Oh, sorry, where was I?
The variances
Yes.
we already approved.
Appears you've done systems, homes, and construction, that's pretty self-evident. The new one there is 1961 Washington Street, you can see that one. Food inspections, Focus Nutrition, 44 Bedford Street, between Viking and Fiesta, is finally open.
I saw.
Okay, permit issued. Ashland Farms is our local ice cream place that's seasonal, it's open for the season.
yeah,
I did one routine food inspection, Pepper Paul's is a residential kitchen with hot sauce. And one mobile truck that came here for inspection, Danny's Ice Cream Truck. Housing. Can I just jump to complaints? That's the easier one to do. I received a call from DEP Strike Force regarding septic smell at that address. Anonymous caller reports the owner's pumping septic in his backyard.
okay, I'm sorry, I'm blind in my left ear.
Okay,
Which one are we talking about right
I'm
now?
doing 7,
Seven.
just because it's quick and easy. Could not verify, left a card with a message to contact the office, and I haven't received any contact back.
All right, so I think we had discussed in the past that when a complaint comes in, it has to be attached to a name, a phone number, and an address, and we're
This
not.
came from the DEP Strike Force.
So
I have
they
a name-
received the
A
anonymous?
name, a phone number down at DEP.
They had it, or,
They have it.
okay,
They
well,
did
they
not-
need to,
they
they
did
need
not
to
have
give
it.
it to us. Otherwise, we're not inspecting it, because that can go on forever. That can be vindication, all kinds of
Yep, no,
craziness.
I agree with you.
So if they want us to inspect it, then they need to relinquish the name and the phone number, or that person has to call us directly.
Just to give you a little tickle, I received a complaint about something on Broad Meadow. They wouldn't give us the address. They wouldn't give us their name.
Yeah,
She just said, drive up and down the street and you'll smell it. I
yeah,
don't do
we
it.
don't have time for that. If
Nope.
they're concerned, then they can attach themselves to the complaint.
Housing. 1R17 West Union Street is almost in compliance. I received a housing inspection for 165 Bridge Street. I'll be doing that this week. And Friday, I did an emergency inspection at 181 Pond Street.
Okay, so 181 Pond Street.
That,
You received a call from either the police or the fire department requesting an emergency.
On Friday, we received a call from dispatcher requesting the health agent to immediately go out to the address. and on the scene were fire and police.
Okay, so just looking at the emails going back and forth, to me, it looked like that this dwelling is uninhabitable.
It's not fit for human habitation.
Okay, all right, so, all right,
Absolutely.
I apologize, I used the
No,
wrong
that's okay.
terminology.
Absolutely.
So, unfit for human habitation, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So, where do we stand with this?
If
I mean, I
so-
thought we were gonna vote to either condemn or,
Not yet. There's very specific,
So, yeah, I mean, I've spoken to legal about this, so there is like very specific wording that we can use here. And when you say uninhabitable,
that was my word.
unfit for
in
human
reference
habitation.
to what? Because I was told uninhabitable and condemned, it has to be a structural defect. If the police and fire were there, they could tag it out. That legally, we can't definitively name a structure in those terms without assuming liability for putting the person up, assuming their moving expenses, and so on. So legal had said that would not, we are not to use
Legal
those terms.
answered me in an email, because I did it on Friday at 4 o'clock to him. Basically, it's uninhabitable for human habitation. The conditions were hoarding. We had to push things away to get in. The structure is, the floors are iffy. You had to watch where you were stepping. The oven had food in it that I would say is a good 6+ months old. Same with the dishwasher. What the big issue was, the pipes broke. They ran down the wall, they soaked the electrical, and we had 6 inches of water in the basement.
So then the fire department locked them out, I assume.
They shut off all the utilities.
Yeah.
Yep. So what happens is, once the fire response is finished, it then sort of comes to us, because the emergency's over.
Mhm.
Because the person was taken out, and it is my understanding, I've not been able to confirm it, because I haven't got a call back with contact information, he's gonna be in the hospital for a while. So at that point, I said, okay, I don't really have to worry about him trying to come back over the weekend, because he's not gonna be able to walk. But
So
we-
how did the utilities get shut off?
The fire
Fire
department.
department
when
did
it's
it.
an
Okay,
issue,
that
they
was
shut
not
them
in,
off.
I did not, I mean, if I missed it, I missed it. Okay,
So that whole thing was,
I was under the impression that they had already been shut off.
we had the water department came in, because the water was popping out of the pipe in the front. Water department turned the water off. The electric was cut. The oil, I'm trying to think, the oil thing was red tagged, which means don't fill it. There wasn't any oil in it. Anyways, he was using electrical propane heaters inside, which is a no-no. And because of the wet walls, the mold was pretty intense. So that would kind of kick it into the virus and bacteria stage at that point. I talked to the brother let me in, gave me permission. He's got the keys, so he met the test for giving us access. And he indicated that A, he'll be in rehab for a while, and B, they're gonna take him in when he gets out. So
And
at
just-
that point, I said, I don't need to tag it condemned, I don't need to do an emergency. The person's not coming back within the next couple of days.
But what if he signs himself out?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
He
you can do
can't
that.
walk.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, I mean,
You
I'm
can.
trying
As long as he
to,
gets a ride, he can.
And I know what you're saying, because people that don't wanna leave their house, that would be a very dangerous situation for him to be in.
And basically, the fire department has already locked him out, so it really isn't falling on us per se at this moment.
No, but we have to either declare it fit for habitation or unfit, and at this point, it's unfit. I would say I would send a letter to the person in care of his brother, saying that it's unfit for human habitation, and then just put a little blip underneath if you don't wanna condemn it. At this point, I probably wouldn't either. You must have inspection before you can reoccupy this.
Well, yeah, he can't,
But-
they can't get the,
You know, put it
fire
right in.
department isn't gonna let him turn anything back on until they inspect anyway. 'cause
I know, but we still have to cover ourselves, so I would say that. I don't think any workers are gonna.
I don't think I would put unfit for habitation. I think I would basically state the issues involved and then state before the owner can reoccupy the residence, these matters need to be rectified, kind of as the
Right.
wording issue.
Yeah. We have to use specific language.
Terms, yes.
Yes. It's a health and safety issue. needs to be corrected before you can go back in. And that's pretty much where we are with it. All right? I'm just looking for the email from legal. So, let's see. Board of Health determines in writing the danger to the life or health safety of the occupants is so immediate that no delay may be permitted, and the Board of Health issues a finding that the dwelling's unfit without notice, and public hearing requirements have to be adhered to. It's like a public hearing after the fact. I didn't feel we were at that stage, basically because the individual wasn't going back there with the information I knew. Anytime after the finding the dwelling's unfit, the Board of Health can issue a condemnation order in order to vacate. There's certain steps.
Mhm.
Condemnation means you can't go in there to live. You can go in to take stuff out. In order to vacate would mean you can't go in at all. Okay? So, like I said, that's what I did.
But my understanding is, and correct me if I'm wrong, if the fire department shut all the power off because of the conditions of the dwelling, then they are taking the lead in this, and although we are gonna do our inspection, they're not gonna turn anything on until it's rectified.
That was the opposite of what the fire chief was telling me. We're
Because
the-
I know
we're the only board
if
that
a
can do
tree
that.
falls on my property and it's considered a hazard, if it interferes with the wiring or whatnot, the fire department will come in and shut off all power. I could technically go live in my garage unless they're gonna track me down, but,
Right,
you know
right.
what I mean? But
Yep.
it doesn't necessarily mean that we're shutting it down at this point because they're superseding us because they shut the power off.
That wasn't my understanding.
All right, well, we
Well,
can clarify that.
Yeah,
okay.
that's,
I'm just letting you know where we're at now. I'll just send them a letter saying, here are the conditions I found. You know, prior to habitating the dwelling, you need to have an inspection, and kind of just
Perfect.
leave it like that, okay? But at least we're putting them on notice that you probably shouldn't live there. That does a couple of other things, just to kick it to you. That helps him get emergency housing and emergency funding.
Well, I can tell you, in my experience, the list for emergency housing is
I know,
huge,
I know.
and if he is offered a rehab placement, it negates his spot on the list for emergency housing because he's already in a safe dwelling, and as that goes, he can sign himself out as long as he even crawls out of the facility. You can leave AMA unless he's deemed incompetent.
Yep. But at least by notifying the brother who has rights to the house, we've, we've done it to one of them, you know? But I agree. All set?
All set.
Are you all set?
No, Lisa, can I just mention one thing? At our next meeting, May 15th, after our board meeting, then we're going to stay for the discussion of the article for, so I just want to just make sure. I'll be sending you emails in regards to that, just as a reminder as well. And
Okay.
the June 5th rabies clinic has been posted. Flyers are put up on bulletin boards, they're put up on our website, they're sent over to the COA, they're out on tables around here, so.
The vaccine clinic, has that been posted?
I never received
didn't receive
any
information on it.
information on it.
It is, I believe, it's May 13th, but let's just put that out there officially. So the senior center will offer another vaccine clinic, which will incorporate all vaccines. Previously, the prior one, some individuals have gotten their shingles vaccine, which is a 2-shot series, so they can come back for the second.
Okay.
Is that listed with the COA?
Yes, it's all approved. They're gonna be coming in for Star
Do they have a
Market.
flyer? Okay, I'll contact them and get something up on the website.
Yeah, I
as
believe
well.
it's the 13th from 10 to 12.
You might be able to pull last falls and just change the date.
Okay.
Okay. All right, no topics.
I didn't put indoor air quality issue there, if you want to talk about it.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
The indoor air quality issue?
Yeah, we're not gonna do that
Okay.
right now. All right, so I am going to take a vote to close open meeting and enter into an executive session with intent not to return to open session for the purpose of pursuant to MGL Chapter 30A, 21A, to discuss either the reputation, character, physical condition, or mental health rather than professional competence of an individual, and to discuss disciplined or dismissal or complaints or charges brought against a public office, employer, staff member, or individual. That covers all the issues to do such. We are having a medical discussion, so I will take a roll call to close open meeting, enter into executive session, and not return to open session. Rob, how do you vote?
Vote to close and then open executive and not to return.
Tom?
Vote to close and open executive, not to return.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So this will close the May 1st meeting. Our next meeting is May 15th at 5 PM.